See if it hits that New York Open. If it doesn't, it's a open drive, sorry. Tag out New York Open right at 28, but it seems like it's gonna fade out. If it does, I'll probably have to follow the fade. See if it taps it or not. I missed it by 2 points so far, or like a tick. All right, we'll sell it for now. It's a very tight trade because the invalidation is right there at 28s. If it trades the New York Open, I'll just fade it, close it. But if it doesn't, I'll continue to add to it. Run it down again. I don't really like trading the first few minutes, but it's a very tight range too, so if this expands, it'll be pretty quick. Hey, FH, happy Friday. Happy Friday, sir. Tight trade, see if it holds or not, but I'm gonna add more to it if it fades. An open drive, it can't get above the New York Open. It's a very tight open drive, but we'll see right now. Okay, I'll add more here. Be a tight trade. If it takes me out, it's a quick stop. If it doesn't, then it's a pretty high reward trade. I don't mind taking it and adding into it. Where's the con? Oh, the flip's right there at the overnight high. NQ looks weak 100%. Yeah, it does. I agree, sir. How are you doing today, man? Mr. FH. Yeah, the NQs are really fading out comparatively, huh? God, it's Friday. Oh yeah, you have any plans this weekend? Uh, Good man. How are you been so far? Thanks. You got any plans or why are you excited for Friday? If they hold overnight low or not? A nature walk with the kids. Awesome, dude. I love that. I'm mentally drained during the screens. This week has been draining for sure, given the weird volume or volatility or lack thereof. Pretty calm market, you know. It's almost suspicious. Not taking TPs or I should, expecting more. Oh man. Well, that sounds like a good reset, you know. The weekend. Very slow shape. It's been like this. Weird. Fucking hell, I know. Nuts, dude. I'm perplexed a little bit. Yeah, there they come back. They're hitting VWAP. Yeah, they held the overnight low. The range is pretty tight for the overnight session, but they held overnight low, so it's likely to come and test the other side. I can likely get tech stopped out here. They couldn't break the overnight low. They're gonna stop me up. Sure. There's my stop right there. Boom. Yeah, I didn't mind the trade, honestly. Whether it was, if it was gonna be a loss, I didn't mind it at all. Only because it was a tight trade. It was a very good trade R factor wise. So we got 813, 805. Yeah, the risk reward was very good, honestly. I didn't mind it at all. Even taking an L on it. It's gonna fade out now, it seems. You gotta be kidding me. Are you serious right now? I got probed up. Yeah, I got top tick right there. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, it seems like it. We'll see if it breaks down the 20s. I'll try it if it breaks the 20s, but who knows? Seems like I just got top ticked on that. My stop was too tight. I just didn't want to see it come back below or above the New York Open. It was going to be a true open drive. below the, yeah, that's the area I want to see break to. It's the most obvious area that if we break below, probably get a straight move down to 805, and then from there, I don't know, maybe 90s, 80s, like you said. It's the clearest looking breakdown. Set up if it triggers. It's still weak, man. Waiting to see if it holds below this value or low. Do you have news in 10 minutes? Oh. What is it? Oh, consumer sentiment? It varies, I don't know. Red? Yeah, I mean, sometimes it matters and sometimes it doesn't. I guess we'll see. Something pushed the market up there. What props? Only one I have is Blue Sky. Others there are, to be honest. I think that one and Fidai is probably the best ones. Fidai only because of the swing trading account. What about you, man? What ones do you use right now? Prefer? Oh, okay, cool. I was using Lucid. Okay, that sounds popular. I feel like I heard that one before. Don't know that one. Okay, let's take 6 and then they go live. I mean, that's fine. I guess the live doesn't matter. You already have your own live, yeah. The incentives there, yeah. Decent. I don't know, like, people seem to have like a negative connotation to going live. I don't know why. Is that the whole purpose? People complain about taking you live, the prop or whatever. It's pretty good. It's not bad. They let you swing on live on Lucid, really? They didn't let me on pVAH, which was really ironic, because the account I had was a swing account. That's really great. I should probably look into that, because I had a live with pVAH. They didn't let me. Really weird. I emailed them and everything, and they said, "Oh no, we gotta review your performance and you gotta have a history." And I'm like, bro, this was literally a live account, a swing trading account when I purchased it. Why is the live one not a swing trading account? That makes no sense. Too profitable? Yeah, well, I think that's true, because you know what happened? They don't let me buy them anymore. They banned me from buying the swing trading accounts. No, I swear. I go on their website, I'm not allowed to buy any. So I like them. They're good accounts. I guess they decided that I'm too good at swing trading, so they won't let me buy anymore. I can log in and look, check it out. I'll do it right now. Let me log in and everything. Yeah, it's disappointing, you know. I get it, you know. I don't take it personal. I understand, but they just don't want, you know, if you're good at it, they don't want you keep taking money from them. Check it out. Look, I'm logged in as a member. Go to, what is it? Subs. Check it out. It's in French. Let's make this in English. Okay. Check this out. We go to, I think their swing trading is the fundamental. No, it's the premium. Let me check. There one. I don't know, because they changed the names recently. Okay. It's not this one. And a Daytradr. Gotta find that. I think it's probably premium then. Yeah, hold overnight, right? Over weekend. It's the premium. Okay. Go to premium. Check it out. I try to buy it. Okay, they let me go through. See? It won't let me. I can't go past this point. I don't know. It's just I get blocked out. I think I can do it with the other ones. Let me see. They used to give me an error message. Doesn't anymore. Yeah. Yeah, they banned me. I can't buy any. And then I think this one, they let me. Yeah, see? Look, they let me go through on this one. This one. So I'm banned from 2 different accounts purchases. I can only get this one. The other 2 I can't buy anymore. I took too much money from them. Can you believe that? Yeah. So I took too much money from them, so they banned me from buying their accounts. Yeah, I was. They don't like that, I guess. So I'm like, what do you call that? Like blacklisted or something? Yeah, I did. And then yeah, that's true. You remember well. They didn't but they didn't like that. I mean, I get it, you know, it's like it's not personal, but I did have 3 with 10 and they didn't like that. It's fine though. I still recommend it because like thing is like it's good flexibility. I mean, if they end up not allowing you to buy more, then that's a risk assessment on their end later on. But during the process, I didn't have any problems at all. It was pretty clear cut, and I never had any problems. It's not like I can shun them for, you know, when I did have them. Now the only problem I have is I just can't get any more. This weird volatility. This is the 7 o'clock. Yeah, data. Yeah, it's good overall. I can't complain, honestly. You know. Yeah, it's thinned down, and then that data came out right now. They pushed a new high, or no? Or did they? No, they just weird. Weird. 7 o'clock. They're pushing higher now. Hmm. Oh, relatively weaker, yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, talking about that. Weaker. Let me see if I can find it. You might want this. There was, I think you like ATS, right? They have like a partner program or something. Yeah, they were looking for. Let me see if I can find it. I got an email, so you might have got that email. There it is. You have a blog, forum. So they I think they were looking for writers. I guess they're trying to create like a blog or some sort. Where is? Oh, I think I got an email. Let me see. Nope. Can't find it. Find it. I had like a. Yeah, a writer of some sort, like for a blog post they want. I'm trying to find there. I mean, if you look through your emails, you might have received it. But right to it's not even for their platform, but rather just for writing market commentary or analysis. They were looking for that. Why so late? Yeah, it looks like they're gonna hold the 20s. Pretty tight range. Let it expand. I mean, it's a very narrow range, even overnight. Look at this little. Usually get a big move when you have a tight range like that, so we'll see when it expands. Maybe. Maybe. That's what they did yesterday. I didn't know this week, yeah. It's the tape, look at the way it's trading. It's just it just I don't know. It's very weird. It seems like it's May or something. You know, during the summer month when volume is low, but it's not. It's just odd. Have that kind of rotation, you know, and the tape is just so static. Low interest. We're not opening up. But it seems like it so far. Not wrong. Don't think. He was I think they're both like open auctions. Trading around the open. Here's yesterday's value high. That holds below it. I get a failed breakout of yesterday's value high. I think it's just a binary area. So if it holds above it, then it continues back into what? The gamma flip overnight high. Overnight high is what, 32? If it fails here, I'll try it against the overnight high. Okay. The overnight high 32. Pretty tight trades, honestly. It's only as possible because of the tight range that we had overnight. Otherwise, the stops should not be this tight. For me, at least. I don't typically have stops that tight. Yankee hasn't traded the overnight high yet, or the overnight low. If it holds below the VWAPs, there's like all of them are all tangled together. If it holds below it, I'm open to adding more. What's the GEX? Is it still red? I think the GEX is still red. Yeah. They have not let go of the GEX. It's still been really red. They have to hedge a lot of premium. I wonder what's going on with that. Last few weeks, I think 2 weeks now, and GEX has been red nonstop. Are they really? I think you had sold some premium on it, right? It's super odd. I mean, given that, you know, we last 32 weeks, it's super odd because like the VIX is what? 14.5? That's really low. 14.5 VIX, and they're paying premium? They're really trying to, I mean, there's definitely some implied volatility. I wonder why. No way. That's a great premium for a strike. FOMC low. That was perfect. That was perfect time to sell of that premium. The 80.75, not bad. Not bad. What is that for? That from is that for the month or 2 weeks? Okay, that was the question I was gonna ask. Not bad. We'll add more. Not bad. No, it's not. That's a pretty stretch of a strike for the premium, and it's just odd to me because The VIX isn't like it has a huge premium associated with it. That's pretty weird. I don't know why the premium's so high. I don't know if the implied volatility is just high because of I don't know why the implied IV is so high. I'm gonna assume it's because of all this AI, fear and whatnot. Time is 7:15. All right. Q is kind of weak. I don't know if it's gonna break down. If it does, that'd be ideal because that would help my my ES short here. But we'll see. Still in a range. We're not going anywhere. But I mean, good on you, man. Selling premium. I'm glad. I'm glad. What's the margin put up for a contract on the MES to sell premium? Is it vary per contract or is it like a static amount margin? Hey, those are cute too. Okay, it's not bad. Not bad margin requirement. 2,000 close to the money, makes sense. Higher volatility. 200 points out, 6-week expiry. I got like 100 per con. Not bad. This pre-up harvesting, I have not wanted for a year. That's not bad. Not bad, man. Are you mainly selling put premium or what's the main trade on that? Looks like the NQ is slicing here a little lower now. Back to the 20s. We'll see if we break or not. So it could be a failed breakout right there of the of that value or high. That's where I entered. I added more after price kind of traded above and then it failed again. I added more to it. And again, the reason I don't really like the short The only reason is because the bias says short. We're below the flip, the gamma flip, so kind of calls for that price action, I guess. Not really ever a fan of it. NQ, funny enough, is actually above the flip. Interesting. Huh. So that makes me hesitant on shorts when they're both, when one of them is above the flip and one's below. I'm gonna keep a close eye on the Nasdaq, make sure it doesn't just, you know, do some crazy little move here. Reversing, because it does like to reverse the NQ, especially as it hits support, which is the support level we're hitting right now on the NQ. Right here. Selling puts, I don't do much sell calls. That's a good idea. I mean, it makes no sense to sell a call given the trend. So I don't disagree with that one. I'm gonna know you. Stop. I am really him. I think all y'all do Saturdays. I think your short is going to work. We'll see. I like it level to level, so I think it's a decent try at this little value area. It's a prior week value high, right? Not really. It's like a value high from a few sessions composite. I don't know which ones, but there's one right there at 813, which I like for a take profit. So take it here. Okay, just got one lot. All right, whatever. Just try this one. I sold half of it right there on this little dip. Hey, thanks, Roy. I went ahead and sold half here at 817, holding the other half. Where is the... Here it is. The short paid already for a few points. I mean, it's about, what, 10 points? I shorted at 27. Took 10 points. That's not bad. It's okay. You know, given the volatility is so tight, 10 points is pretty good. I'm keeping an eye on the Nasdaq again. It's in an area where it may bounce, it may not. I don't know. I don't want to be caught up in, you know, the NQs. Thingy. Thinky. I don't know what to say. Blanking out here. 10 points nice like this. It is. It really is, because volatility is tight. You know, when you look at if you go back to any day this week, and I think we discussed this in the chat, the 30-minute range or multi-hour range has been like 8 points, 7 points. You know, it's yeah, super tight, dude. So getting 10 points right now seems like a friggin' got a sniper of an entry, I would say, at this moment in time. Things can change, you know. S&P at 10 points could be a scalp at some points if volatility expands. But right now is pretty tricky. Yeah, not taking 10 has left money on the table for this. Oh, yeah. Because it reverses, right? Because that's the thing. It's like the volatility regime is been fluid lately. It's been very hard to have a high expectation for price going X amount of points, and it just doesn't. Yeah. That's been tough. I agree, dude. This week especially. They're reloading bids here. I don't know why, but yeah. They're reloading some bids here passively. Some just showed up here, like they're trying to buy this back up. NQ broke down. Okay, it continues. That gives me some ease that we can go lower. The NQ haven't broke down there. A little support. I guess we'll put on a reference area here. On this low, 30K, 100. Okay. Could have just shorted the NQ. The NQ looked a lot weaker, but I mean, this one structurally hit a value area and then faded below. So NQ is below the support area and the value area low for the current session. As long as it holds below this, I'll be comfortable holding the short. Starts to reclaim that value area on the NQ, I'll have to kind of step aside or scale some out, you know, the position. I still have half the position, so I still have 6 lots. I had a total of 12. I tried it initially here with 8 lots, stopped out, came back in, did the failed breakout, added more, and then doubled down after it did the second test and failed. And the structural bias was the reason I was looking for a short. It's like right next to my head somewhere, right? Okay. My computer is a little funky right now. I can't see my taskbar. Yeah, there it is. Nice trade. Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah. Not too excited about it, to be honest. Like I didn't have high conviction. The only thing I did have, the reason I did size 12 micros is because given the tightness of the range of the market, given how tight we've been trading, I'm able to get away with doubling the size because the stop losses are super tight right now. I mean, what is that, like a 5-point stop loss for me? That's rare. I usually have to go 12 on average. 10 to 12 is usually my stop loss, which is double the amount that I'm doing right now. So my size, that's why my size was double. Usually 6 lots is what I swing. I did 12 right now, so yeah, crazy. Right back. I gotta go to the restroom. Maybe that's a sign the market's gonna dump. I don't know. We'll see. 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 Something like that. Yeah, I'll be right back. I gotta go. What was it that day? I don't know. I don't think you were here, FH, but this was on Wednesday. The market chopped around like around the 60s all day. I sat on that fucking trade for like 3 hours at the 6. I think my average fill was 67 on the S&P. I even got long the NQ as well at some point. And then as soon as I left the stream, the market started to rip in the direction that I was betting on. It didn't quite hit the high though that I was looking for, but it was enough to get me green. Because I had, where was it? Let's go back on this chart. It's probably the cleaner one. It was this day right here. Yeah, right here. Check this out. Was it this day? Yeah. No. Was it this day? Oh, it was this day right here. Right here. What a messy ass day. This is the day I was long and I got stopped out twice. I got long here. I got trailed out right here. This volatility came in because of Trump's tweet. I got stopped out again on this one and I got long here. And then I kept adding to the long here, here, here. And then eventually it paid me. Yeah, dude. That was a messy ass day on Wednesday. I got stopped out twice on the same trade idea. Volatility from a Trump tweet. And then the other time my stop loss was just in the wrong place. Yeah. It's super annoying. And then it went up and then it went limp at the 80s. I was looking for it to break the 80s. I didn't have a full position by the time I hit the 80s, but I was looking for that level to break. And eventually it did break the 80s. Just happened to be overnight. You know, just fucking douchebags, man. They did the move, but it was just like later. $8.11. Alright, we'll scale here another tad. We're hit the IB low. I should always scale when they break the IB. I scaled more there. I have what, 2 lots? 3 lots. I have 3 lots, and that's kind of where we'll leave things for now. I'm not going to get greedy, hoping for a bigger move that the market is maybe or maybe not willing to give. Gonna keep things kind of steady here, level to level. I usually always scale on the break of the IB, whether that's an IB high or an IB low. So it makes sense to do it here as we break below the current IB low. I'm not going to get greedy and squeeze more out of it. I already, you know. I can see this coming back to the 20s from below. So in other words, I can see this. Let me draw it out. Oh, old drawings here. I can see this doing a retest of the 20s. And then from there, who knows? I can see it coming back here. Let me see if it does or not, but yeah. I feel like most times I'm able to kind of more or less, I can be in the right direction of the market. That's usually not a problem for me. More often than not, I'm on the right side of the market's rotation. I can identify it pretty decently. But sometimes my stop loss placement is not the best in some instances. That kind of hinders me a little bit. The next zone down, I think for sure to scale is going to be between here, 805 and 802. I saw your short on the S&P at 34s yesterday. Was it 34s? Right? I think you had like a call wall on the NQ that you used as a reference for the short on the S&P. That was a good trade. Nice trade, dude. That was good. Very clean. You know, it's funny, like, I feel like sometimes when I don't really see people's trades, but if I were to see people's trades, meaning the way that, like, they manage a trade or the way they enter and exit a trade, I feel like it says a lot about their personality. Yours are very clean. You have an entry near a high or a low. Some are really, really strategic most times that I see your entries. And then, yeah, like, you're pretty disciplined with the static take profit. It always seems to be within the same distance, points wise. I don't know if I could be wrong, you can tell me. But your take profit always seems to be static, set in place, like where it always is. 10 points, 15 points, somewhere around there seems to be the consistency that I see you do that. But it just like, I feel like it kind of speaks onto who you are a little bit. Pretty much the same every time. Yeah, that's what I usually notice on your trades when I've seen them. And collect data, nice. I just think it's very interesting. And then I've seen some streams where you can see like there's a range and you can see a bunch of trades up and down, a bunch of arrows everywhere. And I'm just like, bro, what is going on in this guy's chart? It's like trades everywhere. Yours are like, I see yours and you're like, there's an entry here, right? And then there's one exit, like in this, it's like 1 and 1 clean. And I see others and it's like entries all over the place and exits all over the place. I can't even tell where the entry and exit for whether it's a gain or a loss. I see it and I'm just perplexed, bro. I'm like, what were they thinking during that range? It's just insane. And it just, to me, that tells me they're just like, you know, shopping around, trigger happy, yeah, shooting from the hip. Crazy. Crazy. Let me see. Let's see if people are real here. Execution chart look like, right? I'm trigger happy. Feels everywhere. Pretty. Yeah, trigger happy, dude. I mean, yeah. When I see that, I just think of like the emotional toll that takes on me. You know, if had I done that, you know, because I have done that. I'm not gonna say I haven't traded like that. I have, you know, before, but it's fucking stressful. Fuck. Have you used the let me actually post that here. Do you use the positioning reports that I've started making FH? Check them out. Yeah. Alrighty. I'm trying to come up with like not I wouldn't call it an indicator, really good at playing around it. I think so. You know, like the other day, what was it? The passive absorption selling at the 780s? Dude, that was an amazing trade on my end. With that report in conjunction. I mean, that was a clean setup, like for me when I took it. Let's see. But yeah, those reports, we'll see how good they end up being. I'm trying to refine. I just barely started making them. If you do use them and they're valuable, I'm glad. But I'm slowly adding more features to them. So now I added like a session detail. So if you look at it now, there's a session detail report underneath. It shows where sellers hit the day prior, which was correct because, right, we saw that selling at 36s yesterday. So it's reading the delta correctly. You can see that there's a lot more sellers It was 48 of 52 between 8:36 yesterday near that prior day high from yesterday where we sold off from. So it read that data correctly. And then there's the 50-50 one. This one's a little less. The balanced range between 18 and 25, which is where we were. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, I'm releasing it as it works because I've had this data for a few weeks. I just don't put it out until I can kind of validate that it's true. Like, okay, more often or pretty much it's on point. And then I start kind of putting it out for people to read. I'll hold on to the data for a few weeks and make sure it's actually accurate. Like the NQ one I just released yesterday. And if this cracks 813, you're sure gonna pay? I hope so. You know, we'll see. Again, I'm watching the NQ. That's really the one that... My assumption is as long as the NQ holds below this little support supply zone, which is currently the value or low and the first standard deviation, if it holds below that, then yeah, I think they'll definitely come down to the gamma flip on the NQ right there at 30k 80, something like that. Wouldn't be bad. Let's see. All right, seems like nobody's gonna answer the poll. That's fine. What's today, the 14th? Yeah. Huh? All right, let's got an alert. Or still pretty trading at the lows. They reject. So here's the NQ, like I said earlier. I'm looking at this area. Right now, it just did this rejection. If it comes down to the gamma flip. Similar setup. So again, it just like came in, tested the level. So far, it's rejected. Don't know if it continues, but if it does, the next target down is there. And then same thing with the, got a similar setup here. We had a failed breakout of the, that's what triggered this short for me. What time is it at 8:30, he said? 8:40, oh, sorry, 7:47. 7:47. No way, William? Wow. Is she gonna go tomorrow? Yeah. Oh. They definitely they're still holding on to that prior week value high. So 813 is definitely a key level here. It's exactly where the IB formed to. Get below that, we can find acceptance underneath that. The next reasonable area to target is the prior day's value high, just 805. It's funny because the current week value high is right there at 801. So between the spread is like two value areas overlapped. Could be a good support or a failed breakdown area if it holds. Where's the VIX at? 14.5. Hmm. $798. Yeah, that's. I mean, that would be a good spot to for long. Isn't that where we bounced from yesterday? Yeah. Yeah, we bounced from here. 98, which is that low. Yeah, I mean, ideally, I mean, if we can come down in like a straight shot, it'd be nice for another. If it wants to continue to the trend, to trade here, and then put in like a failed breakdown or a continuation. I don't know. It just depends on how we get there. But it can test this area, and then from there you can kind of get another leg going. If it holds, and maybe test this breakdown area. If it doesn't hold and just continues to fade out, then we probably come back somewhere in this range. Chop zone 780s. I think that'll be very telling for next week, depending on where we end compared to relative to the current week's value. It's today, Friday. Yeah, today. So if price ends below the current week value or high, 800s, and then last week's value or high is 813, then it's 2 probes above and fail. We expand it up and then have failed to hold above value. It's not really indicative of like a downtrend or anything, but it just shows that there's not much initiative to maintain price above a prior value areas or on a higher time frame. I mean, that scenario hasn't played out. I'm just kind of giving what if this, scenarios, if this and that, depending on how this week ends. So ending below 800s is not good, I would say. It's pretty neutral so far. The bearishness really doesn't start, I would say. I mean, like a true bearishness, higher time frame. It would need to hold below 600s, I would say. We would like pretty much need to hold below this. This would invalidate this entire breakout. For now, all of it's just consolidation above a prior range. This right here. There's smaller time frame short setups. Like right now, I took a failed breakout pretty much. The trade that's open right now is just a failed breakout of yesterday's value area. So if that's true, the value area failed breakdown of yesterday, then we should trade the prior value area low as well. It's the auction, right? If you go to AMT, like the auction market theory is that if price fails to break a value area high, goes back below it, then the most reasonable target is for it to transverse and trade that same auction's value area low, which is where I'm targeting right now. Right, it'll transverse the whole range, come out and trade that area. That's where the target is, somewhere around here. For the rest of it, I'll have a runner after that. AMT, pretty simple AMT rules. Right, in terms of auction, failed breaks on AMT. Auction market theory. The look above and I don't want to look into it. I want to find the yeah, whatever. You get what I'm saying. You can look it up if not. Actually, it's like a failed look above and fail in this case. They try to break out of the prior value area from yesterday. Right here. They got stuck, failed. So then we come to PLC, and then from PLC to value area low. In this case, it's down here for yesterday. And then on a higher time frame, what I'm explaining is pretty much the same thing, but on a higher time frame. So we got this week's value area high right here. The last week's is right here at 813. Essentially, we broke last week's value, settled it, and if we close below this, even the current week value, then the next reasonable target is going to be the prior week value or low for next week, as long as we hold above below it. Where's the prior one? At 25s, right here in this area. So if that sets up into the end of the day, meaning we close below 7,800. The next week, my assumption would be as long as we hold below 813s on any pushes, we hold below 813s, we can come back to 780, and then below 780, we come to 725s, something like that. Based on that same principle that I just explained on a smaller time frame, but it would be on a higher time frame. Same concept. Oh, wow. Hi, you look nice. So, I'll be kind of reiterating that depending on how we end the day on the Substack newsletter. Planning for next week, you know. You know? You know? You know? You know? Nice one. You know? Looking forward to reading. Thanks, man. I'll post it later. Probably this weekend. Nothing but today. Yeah, any questions on that auction market theory read? The failed breakouts? Highlighted earlier. A pretty good fill if you look at it. I mean, it got filled near the high of the session. Not bad. Right here, they're currently rejecting the current value or low. It tells me they're imbalanced lower for lower price, which again, the reasonable target is going to be yesterday's value or low. This is why I love profiles, because they just give you objective areas to target. They may not be the perfect high or low, but at least you have objectivity on seeing how value is being distributed and how the auction is holding up throughout the day. And it kind of gives you like, okay, as long as X holds, then you can go to Y. Like very clear read. You don't have to guess that a round number is going to hold, or that yesterday's low is going to hold or test or whatever. It's like very simple structure to structure moves. This structure failed, and you come down to the prior structure low. As price is developing, it's holding below the current structure, showing price is imbalanced. So then therefore, the clearer target is going to be this area, as long as we do not trade back above this zone, right? The clear invalidation of the plan or the trade as it goes. Like you have a clear like line in the sand where your trade no longer makes any sense objectively. full of boasters. Guess you gotta see it. The NQ, the 30K area is pretty interesting. You have a few value areas stacked together. Or low being made. It could reverse here on that. Especially with all that cluster of selling at the low. Could be trapping. This area right here, you have a value area high for the current week, prior value area low, and then the current month value area high. It's a critical area, I would say, on the NQ. Which is funny because it's a round number, 30K. Yeah. I'm trying to make an indicator that can show where all the where this report, you know, all the levels that it shows. I'm gonna try to see if I can get it to annotate on the chart as well, so I don't have to constantly look at the report. I find myself always having them open, looking at the report. Sometimes I memorize the levels, but sometimes I don't. That would be good, yeah. It would just kind of help kind of keeping things clean. But yeah, I would probably just like, to be honest, I have another chart up here. I would probably just use it on this chart because it already has the delta positioning. If I just layer it on the absorption initiative buying on that chart, it would make sense for it just to be in one place. I could just glance up, you know, above there and see the zones. And then look at the delta trading into it or out of it, and it would kind of confirm as well. You can find it. I hide it. I remove my feet when I be gliding. Oh no. I could fly home. You could find me. I just slide. Still not breaking it down, man. NQ is funny because NQ is slipping, but the S&P is not. Huh. It made a new low, and it looks like it wants to reverse on the S&P. I'll see if it does or not, but the value low is also shifting lower here. Another coffee time? Okay, man. I don't know why I said it like that, but that was funny. I got all the time in the world, but now I'm just chilling. And Q is putting in a potential failed breakdown of the overnight low here. See if it has the true capacity to do so. I will continue to hold it until we tag that area or we reclaim the current value area. Are you really down? Are you really down? Ooh. It's chilling. Yeah, you can see clearly that 20s was a breakdown today. This is what needs to be reclaimed, in other words, to get momentum going. Boom. For now, it's below it. If it reclaims later in the day, it might be a good long, you know, end of day, or later in the day, if it comes back in, reclaims, you'll probably get a test of the 30s up here, and then the call wall. Not sure if it does. Right now, it just looks like it's going to slip down into value down here. Oops. To this area here. Need to change this drawing. Oh, head. Alex. Give you no applause. Oh shit. Throw it. That was a solid RR trade. Look at this. I think my risk was like 300 or about a net 700, 2-to-1 risk on this. And it was small size. That's not bad. Yeah. It might end up being more than a 2-to-1 once it's all said and done, depending on how the day ends, but not bad. Running around. Bill talking today. Whoa. Okay, yep, music playing. See, I'm gonna add a poll, see if anybody answers. Why are you here? I mean, why do you watch the stream? To fade you? To learn? What other options we got? To see if you suck. Copy. Please don't copy me, by the way. I can't get no satisfaction, goddamn. Oh, we got one vote. Okay, very good. One vote so far. You get any more? Nope. See what the report says. I think the report said below 85 is really where things get kind of nasty. Right? Yeah. So the risk is for the bulls today. There's bids here at 803 to 815 yesterday. There was buyers here. Yesterday at this level, there was a ton of buying. I'm not sure if it comes in today, but it was here yesterday and overnight. But the risk for the buyers, meaning like capitulation wise, it doesn't really happen. I mean, I don't know for sure. The assumption of the report says until we hold below 785. Let's add that as a reference area. This low right now. We'll add that for future reference. We'll put it as capitulation or possible capitulation. What should we put? Buy side risk. Something like that. Still pretty low. Oh, it's literally the prior day low from a couple sessions ago. Oh, makes sense. The report says that right here. Squeeze risk. This is like squeeze for like shorts. As long as it holds above that, we have upside momentum. But below it is where things kind of get unfavorable for the bulls. All right, I'm gonna take some off here at 809. It's just teetering here at this area. I'm not really a fan of that. Oh, I think I just have one. Yeah, I have one lot. One lot left, and we will hold this. Oh, you're back just in time. I just scaled out of the two lots that I had. I have one lot left. Oh yeah. Ugh. Welcome back, sir. Out of the 813. My oh my. Now I'm swimming. Yankee just took a slump, so that area was key right here. I'm glad I have these little supply zones. They really help out, kind of giving me a clearer picture. I don't have to constantly be keeping track of what level support, what's the level resistance for the NQ or the S. This get drawn out pretty helps me out. Right there. We held right underneath it, and so far it's slicing. Like I said, it might come down to that gamma flip level. Right here at the 3080, 30K80. Oh, okay, well, they're about to hit 805. I should have just waited. Yeah, I thought they would retest the 20s too. That's going to be a backtest area. So if we ever bounce, or when we bounce, whenever that is, somewhere around here maybe, then I would assume if they hold 813s, then we come back to 820s. It's going to be like a target area. This needs a backtest. I've noticed the market, if it breaks down a level, eventually it comes back to backtest it from below. And right now, it has not backtested this area right here, 820s. They just kind of went sliced, held underneath it. It didn't really come back to it. So it wants to backtest it at some point. I don't know when that will be. Could be today, could be tomorrow, but that'll be a reference area for a backtest. You know, the report says that 785 is a buy side risk, and so does the profile. So it's funny how the report, all it does is read volume transacted, and it comes to the same level that the profile composite does as well. The value area high is 86. The report's at 85, so 1 point spread isn't much of a difference. So the report says that if we hold below 85's buy side risk, they can get stopped out. But as long as we hold above it, technically buy side favored. Holding above it. So does the profile. Look, you go to open up our profile, and that has the same area referenced as the report right here. 75.85. And this doesn't even take into account it doesn't take into account profiles at all. It's just compiling volume. So makes sense that it lines up pretty well. This tape is so slow, dude. Wild. Whenever the tape wakes up, I think it'll be pretty apparent. Whenever that is. Given the tape, I mean, nothing's really changed the market. It's been just dripping lower in the same momentum. When that momentum shifts, it'll be pretty obvious, I think, when it's time to counter rotate, meaning move the other way. You know, when it wants to do a reversal, I think it'll be pretty obvious when that time comes. I just don't know when it'll be. If it's going to be similar to any other day, it's probably going to be around New York lunch again. It's typically when there's been the counter move or the move. Price wakes up lately, I don't know why, during New York lunch, which is in like an hour and a half, or an hour to an hour and a half is typically when we've had the moves. Oh, I would have hit the target. Just needed to hold it. Ugh. So I mean, I'm not too mad on the scales. They're okay. The original target was 813, which is the prior week value low. I ended up scaling at 817, and then I scaled more at 812 on the break of the IB, and then I scaled at 809 when it should have been 805 or 806. But 3 points from that. There's the NQ gunning for that gamma flip. Like I said, it looks like that's where it was headed to once it broke down and held below that support area. The gamma flip's right there. Almost there, sir. Ugh. The gamma levels really help with a lot of different reasons why, but sometimes they're pretty clear targets where market wants to kind of run in test. This is the second day where the gamma flip holds as resistance. We didn't quite break it. We were right below it, 831 gamma flip. You couldn't trade without them now? Yeah. I think they're good context, honestly. If I were to say like there's one part as part of your system, okay, very nice. I mean, obviously it's integrated into my system now too. If I were to say there's one aspect of it that really I wouldn't want to be without, it's pretty much the Gex regime and where gamma flip is relative to price. Just those two. The call and put walls I can live without. I think I'd be fine without them. But the gamma flip and then the regime of the amount of Gex will probably be the two things that are most important to me. Because those two things tell me more or less like what price is more likely to do. It gives you good expectations. You know, if price is above the gamma flip, then price can trend. It'll kind of whipsaw. The moves up will be dampened. The moves down will be dampened. You know, sell-offs will not be amplified. But if we're below the flip, a sell-off can easily continue and sell off for a period of time during when it's below the flip. When price is below the flip. When it's above it, price is more steady. It's more kind of controlled and it's a little more trendy. But when it's below the flip, like it is today, it has a tendency to fail. The 4-hour candles have a tendency of being like this. When you have a below the flip, you tendency have something like this. More often than not. Here's the current week value or high. Price is accelerating a little bit. Well, I swear I just saw something in peripheral eye. I've tripped the fuck out. That scared the fuck out of me. I don't know why. No one's in my house. And then the Gex regime helps with understanding whether price is likely to continue to trend or if it's going to be pinned. If price is going to pin. If there's a reversal point, it'd be right here. Like if price wants to reverse, it's gonna be here. This is where the most the most optimal place to reverse. It's a higher time frame area. And then it's also where they're both lined up. Both S&P and NQ are lined up. They're currently trading at the current weekly value high. It should reverse here, or it should accelerate the move lower. I don't know, but if I would have guessed where a reversal might come in, it would be here. Only because we're so deviated away from the first standard deviation as well. Let me show you real quick. You look at the first standard deviation, we're deviated quite a bit from it. I might plan out right here. We'll see. NQ's holding the gamma flip. We'll see if it holds or not. I'm gonna decide from here what I do. I do like this area because if this fails further, then we have a bigger sell-off possible. But I think FH, you said the 98s. If we trigger this 98 area and then it just bounces, and that's probably what they want. They want to take out this low and then bounce again. Oh my, there's a couple support areas right next to each other. What the fuck? Here. Yeah, if it wants to reverse, wants to hold, to be here, I would say. NQ's holding so far. Yeah, I'm gonna fly now right here. Alright, cool. That wraps up the short. It went from value to value, and that's kind of what I was looking for, you know. Value are high, value are low. And continue, I don't know, but that's pretty much the move I was looking for. The tape's waking up a little bit, looks a little different. I'm not gonna bid this, but like I said, if there's an area to reverse, it would be around here. Personally, I think it might want to come in, take out this low, and then reclaim and then go higher. But I'm not sure. This low right here. My assumption is they want to maybe pierce this and then go a little higher. But no idea. I think that trade was 4. I'm just looking at it. I think I was risking 300. It ended up being more than a 2-to-1. I think my risk was like 320 divided by, what is it, 805? I think was the APNOs. Yeah, it was a 2.5. 2.5, 805, 320, 2.5, not bad. Normally it's 350. 350 is my risk, or 350. Stigma around what? The risk or the... My stop loss, what it needs, I put it wherever it needs to be, but I just make sure that it's the loss for that stop loss, wherever it may be, whether it's 20 points, 15 points, I'll put it wherever it needs to go, as long as it stays within 350 risk. So it's never the same amount of contracts, it's always different. So I fit my stop loss where the market needs it, and not where I want it to be. In other words, like, if I want to risk 350 but I want to trade two minis or whatever, I'm not going to put a 3-point stop, right? Because that's my risk, and 3 points is within my risk parameter of the loss. No, I do it the other way around, where I will put my stop loss where it needs to go, but if it means trading less size, less contracts, then I will do that. If it means trading more size because it's a tighter stop loss, because the market allows that, then I do that. But I don't do the thing where people will like, I don't understand why people do this. They have like, oh, it has to be a 2-to-1. That means that my stop loss is always 5 points because I trade one mini, and that's 250. So, you know, whatever. I don't agree with that. I think it's wrong. I think you're imposing your risk limits onto the market and not respecting the market. So the market's gonna pummel you. More often than not, it's gonna pummel you because you think that the market cares about where your stop loss, where you want it to be. And the market doesn't care, you know. I always like having my stop loss in a place where price has not yet traded, because that to me means if I'm trading in favor of my direction, so if I'm short, I don't want to see bulls gain more ground. So I'm always going to try to place my stop at a new high if I'm short. Because structurally, to me, that would make sense. It would tell me that all this effort based on the entry for the bulls, they are not being rewarded. Therefore, my stop loss, they should not be trading a new high. Because if they trade a new high and I'm short, then they're rewarding bulls. And that means that my idea is relatively weak comparatively. So you don't want to see them be favored where you're trying to initiate a trade in that direction. You want to see them lose ground. So that's why most times my stop is at a new low. It's not where price has traded before. It's somewhere price has not traded before. Because most times if you put your stop somewhere where price has already traded before, and this is not always true, because I can think of another example where it's not, but you're more likely to get stopped out. Because price has already traded there. That's already a fair value area. It's already a balanced zone, especially if it's within the balance of the range. It's already a level that has established as being fair value. Therefore, price can trade in and around that fair value area. Again, because it's already agreed upon that that price is fair, where your stop loss is. So, different story for, I mean, this is why stop loss placement is so important, and why I put a large emphasis on stop loss placement. If I am going to long more intraday, like I'm adding to a position, I will put it somewhere below VWAP, because that to me is like a line in the sand between the bull and bear thesis for any structure. we're chopping around VWAP for the day, up and down, that's different. But if the structure is like right now, right, we have a clear directional market, and then we continue to trend in favor of that direction, then the most obvious place to be initiating stop losses if price catches up to VWAP is above the VWAP. Because it's from the morning's rotation, this is going to be that midpoint where if it trades back above it, then all the volume that traded here is probably underwater, or going to be underwater, or under pressure. So I do use VWAP as a dynamic area to play stops if I'm trading in favor of an already moving trend. But most times it's rare. Needs to be structural reference, yeah. Yeah, see, now they're rejecting below the prior value low. We might break down further, man. I should not have covered that short. I probably should have just trailed it to this value area. This one right here. Should have just trailed that last lot there and then just kind of trailed the rest. Well. Thank you. It's now negative gamma, which means it can accelerate and sell off lower. Where you gonna go on your nature walk? You guys have a park nearby? Or you're planning on taking a trip somewhere, Mr. FH? I live near a lot of farms. No way, how cool. So basically live in the woods and a lot of greening. That's awesome. Well, glad to hear it, man. Hope it gives you a good reset. Huh. She do whatever she like. That don't seem right. Okay, it's like orange. Why is so bad? So here we go. I mean, if we end the day, we're still early. What time is it? 8:40. Got about 4 hours still. If we end up closing, like I reiterated yesterday, if we end up closing for the week below this value area, next week, my lean will be pretty, for the nearest valuable short in terms of risk, the best area to trade for me in terms of invalidation to reward would be, depending on how we close this week, we close below 800s or wherever that value area high is. Next week, I'd be looking for a look above test the prior week value or high at 813s and fail short, and then back into the prior week point of control, which is probably around 780, I would say 770, 780, somewhere around there. I really had to guess. Short 813, well, short the failure of the 813, and then maybe add more on 805s, and then trade into 780s, 85, 80 area, and then see if it continues to trade lower and lower into what would it be, 740s, and then 724, somewhere around there. I don't know, that's just hypothetical. I mean, it just depends on where we end the week. So if you guys do want to kind of read up on that, check out the Substack. I'll be posting over the weekend and giving the read of the expectation. Oh, it's not that one. It's supposed to be a newsletter. The link's right there. If you guys want to subscribe, you'll get the write up to it right into your inbox. All you got to do is wake up on a Sunday morning, go like this when you wake up, and you're like, oh shit, I got an email from Trade with Rick. Let's see what he's got to say, and then you just can read it while you're chilling, you know, waking up in the morning on Sunday. Or if you're taking a poop, you know, and you don't know what to read, and you don't want to do like anything that's what do you call it, like, is it called that brain thing, what do the kids call it? Dang, what's it called? Hold on, blanked out here. Brain rot. If you don't want to, you know, sitting there on the pooper and you don't want to look at anything that's brain rotting, then you can, yeah, brain rot, then you can, you know, read the newsletter, you know, during that time. It's like a 3-minute read. Enough time to do the overall analysis read and then also get back to your brain rot, you know. I don't know why I couldn't remember the brain rot term. It looks like they did a small probe. This lower deviation, man, this is the expected move based on the options market. And they hit it perfectly, and then they're kind of reversing right now. The expected move for the day was 801 on the options chain going into today. And the expected move up was 840. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't part of the structural plans, but because the bias was short this morning on the edge log, I took that failed breakout as the structural short bias, then just trailed based on value areas. Thanks. That trade was really good as a 2.5 risk to reward. Very little drawdown. You know, sometimes I like to look at the data and in terms of like, there's a difference between planned risk and actual risk, meaning like how much drawdown did the trade actually get based on your plan. I look at that data more because then that tells me my stop loss placement information. Like, my stop loss assumption was up here, but my actual excursion against me, meaning like how much did the market move against me, was a lot less. And I review that data weekly, so that tells me that like my stop loss placement, whether it's good or it's not, but also is it too wide, is it, or what it is. And that gives me the kind of more or less like, okay, I don't need to put my stop loss so far out. I can tighten it up a little bit, which then leaves room to add more size. I'm constantly looking at all my data and figuring out how to optimize the risk to maximize the reward. Because if you optimize the risk, you can immediately enhance the reward, because the risk comes first and the reward is what comes if you're right. If you mitigate the risk, you eliminate the drawdown, you eliminate the losses, or overall loss to loss ratio, your win rate, and essentially, and then as a result of that, your win rate improves and also your reward factor improves. So risk first and reward comes as a benefit of that, not reward first, so on. It's a pretty common thing that a lot of professional traders, if you watch any interviews, they always reference risk management is most important. It's something they all say in tandem, that they all like hold like Bible. So it makes sense why. When you optimize for risk, you're inevitably optimizing for reward indirectly. I think I mentioned this before, but on gap ups, when we're gapping up and we're below the gamma flip, we have a tendency to fail sometimes, which is why I was leaning in that direction. I really hope that viewers are watching and you guys are like committing the time to sit here and listen to me talk. That first of all, it's valuable. But two, like you're asking, I hope you're asking, you have the gut to ask questions. I don't know how to say it. Like if I ever explain something and it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because I'm talking, but I'm not listening to myself talk. I could be making no fucking sense at all. I could be completely insane. I mean, I obviously know what I'm doing to some extent, right? Like I can take trades and annotate them and trail them and everything, but like as I'm explaining it, I don't know if I'm explaining it right. Or in a way where like it's digestible. So I hope you guys are open to asking questions. I just sit here and I pretty much talk to myself and FH the whole time. And FH, God bless you, man. I appreciate you being here and talking to me through these sessions. Because to be honest with you, if this was like a day-to-day thing, I would not fucking stream. I would rather just sit and soak in my own thoughts than to sit here and talk to a wall. Like we can on a Tuesday, I can move, right? All right, well, I'm gonna bounce, guys. I'm gonna head out. I think today's Friday. Hope you guys have a good weekend. I'll CFH and anyone else who's streamed or watching the stream. Appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of your week.